At the dawn of the 11th century, the Byzantine Empire was the most powerful state in the Christian world, vast, wealthy, and ambitious. But in the rugged mountains to the north, the Bulgarian Empire remained a stubborn thorn in its side. For decades, Tsar Samuel's forces had raided deep into imperial lands, defying peace treaties and humiliating emperors. For Basil II, the young and iron-willed emperor, this was not just a military problem. It was a personal vendetta. Basil II had inherited the throne amid civil wars and palace intrigues. But beneath his calm, disciplined exterior burned a relentless hatred of disloyalty and defiance. His father had been betrayed by rebellious generals. Now, Samuel's refusal to bow was the ultimate insult. Basil swore he would not rest until Bulgaria was utterly broken. On the other side stood Tsar Samuel, cunning, charismatic, and fiercely proud. He knew Bulgaria could not match Byzantium's wealth or armies, so he turned the mountains into his fortress. He struck fast, vanished into the highlands, and rallied his people with the dream of resisting the empire's yoke. For more than 30 years, war raged across the Balkans. Cities were sacked, borders shifted, and tens of thousands died. Yet, despite countless battles, neither side could land a decisive blow. Basil grew older, harder, and more ruthless, while Samuel grew more desperate, knowing the tide was slowly turning. By 1014, the final confrontation was inevitable. Samuel fortified the narrow mountain pass at Kleidion, blocking the road into his heartland with wooden palisades and earthworks. Deep ravines and steep cliffs made a frontal assault suicidal. Basil knew he had to outthink his enemy. Basil devised a bold plan. While his main force pressed Samuel's defences head-on, he secretly dispatched a division under the veteran general Nikephoros Xiphias. Slipping through the forested slopes, they would descend behind the Bulgarian lines and crush them in a deadly pincer. At dawn, the Byzantine legions advanced into the pass. Arrows rained down, shield walls buckled. The fighting was savage and slow. Then, at the height of the battle, Xiphias's force erupted from the forest behind Samuel's men. Panic tore through the Bulgarian ranks. What had been a defense turned into a slaughter. Thousands were cut down where they stood. Thousands more threw down their weapons and fled into the mountains, only to be hunted down and captured. By the end of the day, the Bulgarian army lay broken, its resistance shattered. Basil had achieved the decisive victory he had long craved. Yet victory was not enough. For decades, Basil had endured raids, insults, and betrayal. He wanted Bulgaria to feel fear in its bones, to remember forever what defying Byzantium would cost. His revenge would not be swift. It would be unforgettable. Basil issued a chilling command. From the thousands of captured soldiers, 99 out of every 100 were to be blinded. The 100th man in each group would lose one eye, his only purpose to lead the others home. Chroniclers counted 14,000 to 15,000 victims. When the mutilation was done, the captives, thousands of blind, broken men, were sent stumbling back to their homeland. The line of suffering stretched for miles, a river of human ruin moving slowly through the mountain roads. When news reached Samuel, he rode out to meet the survivors. What he saw broke even his iron heart. Thousands of his best men maimed, their eyes gouged out, their spirits crushed. Witnesses say he collapsed from shock on the spot. On October 6, 1014, just weeks after the catastrophe, Samuel suffered a fatal stroke. Many said it was grief and shame that killed him. The lion of the mountains was gone, and with him, Bulgaria's last hope of resistance. Without Samuel's leadership, the Bulgarian state unravelled. Fortresses surrendered, nobles defected. By 1018, the proud empire was absorbed into the Byzantine realm, a province now ruled by the very empire it had defied for generations. From that day forward, Basil was known by a new name, Boulgaroktonos, the Bulgar-Slayer. To his enemies, it was a name of terror. To his people, it was proof that imperial will could not be challenged. Basil's vengeance was more than punishment. It was a message. Empires were not toppled by rebellion. Defiance would not be tolerated. The fate of Samuel's army was a warning carved into the memory of every rival kingdom for centuries. Medieval chroniclers like John Skylitz's and Kakalmenos preserved the story. While modern historians debate the exact number of blinded men, they agree the act happened, and that it was one of the most brutal reprisals in medieval history. Why did Basil go so far? It was not simple cruelty, it was control. A calculated act designed to break the Bulgarian spirit, to ensure no one would ever dream of resisting again. It was vengeance elevated to statecraft. Centuries later, the story of Kleidion still echoes. It is studied in military academies and whispered in the annals of medieval history as a lesson in the terrifying power of revenge. How humiliation, rage, and betrayal can shape the fate of nations. The Bulgar-Slayer's triumph came at a cost, a river of blood and tears that scarred two nations. But for Basil II, vengeance was complete. The defiant enemy was broken, the betrayal avenged, and his name immortalized in the chronicles of power and cruelty.